Hello, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. Sasha here. Thank you for joining me, and I hope everybody is having a wonderful day in the mad, crazy, fucked up world that we live in right now. Oh my God, it has been radio rental mental out there. It's not an easy, not an easy world that we're living in right now. But on the plus side, there's so many more people that are coming together and awakening to the utter madness that we are witnessing in our state system, our governments, and all of that. I'm going to be talking an awful lot over, well, I'm never going to stop talking. In fact, I never do stop talking. Anybody that knows me knows that it's really, really, really bloody hard to get me to shut up, especially when I'm on one. And I mean, like, talking about something and I'm really passionate about it because I am a passionate person and I'm just me, real me. I don't bullshit. I always speak the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God. Um, but I also have an awful lot of experience of an awful lot of attack, narcissism, basically. I've been doing an awful lot of research on narcissism, understanding it all, the 50 shades of grey of narcissism. Um, and the more you stick your neck out and the more you put your head up and the more you try and stand up and do the right thing and say the right thing, the demons out there, or the people with not such good intentions, or guilt, or shame, or all of these kind of things, will do everything possible to shut you down. And for me, that really just shows them. And so, this little chat here, first of all, I'm going to be picking up on the Essex Boys saga case. This is the Essex Boys case, which started with the tragic death of Leah Betts, an 18-year-old, just turned 18, who lived in Basildon. And 3 weeks later, no, sorry, 5 weeks later, three Essex lads were shot dead in a Range Rover in Rettendam. I don't need to go into the story here because everybody can find that out. There's been loads of films, there's been loads going on, and this saga has been going on for nearly 30 years. It was 1995. I think it's 6th of December 1995 that the guys were shot dead. And it was on the, I believe, 16th. See if my dates are right. I always get pulled up on this. Somebody go, no, you're wrong. Anyway, I think it was the 16th of November that Leah Betts had a 18th birthday party at her dad's house. Her dad being Paul Betts, the retired police officer. Now, I believe he was a Met police officer. Some people have said Southend, some people have said Met. Anybody wants to tell me whether they know categorically which force he was working for when he was police officer, I would be very, very interested to know that. Um, as I've had conflicting stories, and this is basically what happens and what happens in this whole saga. So a narrative is always put out by people involved that goes away from the truth. They want away from the truth because anybody that is involved, of course, doesn't want it coming to light because, well, for all kinds of reasons. Involvement in a crime means that you can be locked up, and nobody wants that. But that is the penalty to pay for serious crime. I don't agree with the people that are just being locked up for sending a tweet. which has just been made an example of in the UK. Keir Starmer's come in and whole world's gone mental. And now they're locking up a few people for tweets. Anyway, that's bloody outrageous if you ask me. Um, Especially when those tweets have no influence on anybody whatsoever. There's so much you could literally go onto Twitter and do that all day and find people and arrest people. So they've just literally made an example out of these couple of people that have sent tweets and been locked up for them and been prosecuted immediately, arrested, prosecuted, and put straight into jail. And that was for just a tweet. So when you've got three boys shot dead in a Range Rover, serious crime, serious drugs, gangland, prostitution, you know what always goes with doors? And that's whores. Unfortunately, there's always that kind of racket going on. So I am still investigating what I can. It's not my full-time job, obviously, the Essex Boys case. Although it does seem to be some other people's. I'm quite sure it's not even a job. It's just something I'm talking about. But it's not something I've made a career out of. There are certain people that have. And why is the operative question to that? And everybody should really have a really good look who they're entertaining on the Essex Boys case, what they're actually saying, and taking away kind of perceptions of how important or big or how many likes somebody's got or how much influence somebody's got or how much they would like to uh, look like the big man. Hmm. So yes, there's a lot of that been going on. And I only came back into this kind of whole saga. I hadn't thought about it for 27 years, really. And I only came back into it after Sky One approached me to go on the Essex Murders documentary, which I happily agreed to. And the lady that was the running it and coordinating it, she was absolutely lovely. I got on with her really well. And I found out loads of information which I didn't know about the case, that they'd actually been investigating and talking to people. So it kind of made me think about it all again. And I also had a call from somebody who was very heavily involved in the case and said, "You need to talk. You need to talk. You need to tell your story." And so that's where we are. So it was 2021, I think, that the Sky documentary people got in touch with me. And and then that kind of played out, and I didn't get involved in any Facebook groups or any banter or anything like that because it took about a year and a half, I think it was, to actually come to the screens and be out on TV. And I did do 2 days of filming and they cut it all. I did a whole day in the derelict Raquel's, which they didn't even clip it. There wasn't even like one tiny clip of the inside of what Raquel's is like or anything I was saying then. It was all very strange, because I do know that the producers had been waiting for months from Basildon Council to get the agreement to be able to go into the derelict, now Raquel's in Basildon, the club that I worked in, for just 6 months. I did rave in it though as well. I did go to Raquel's before I was a barmaid there. Not too often though, it wasn't my favourite, to be fair. So yeah, so that's where, and then so sorry, yeah. So then I did another day's filming with the Essex Murders documentary team. in a bar in Old Street in London, and we did another whole afternoon filming. And I was in it for 1 minute and a half in the end. And that got me thinking. I was like, first of all, one of the things that they'd said to me is, it's all blokes in this. We can't find anybody female to talk to practically. And like any media company, they were looking for a balance because we all need the balance as well. And just a load of guys talking, and it looks like where's the girls? Where's the women? So it got me thinking as to why everything that I'd said, which was all the truth of my knowledge, it was a truth that I believed quite a few people were aware of. And it really got me thinking as to why that had been all cut out. Anyway, so then I was invited to join a Facebook group, um, the Essex Boys, the Truth, I think it was. And I joined that and said, hi, everybody, and everything was great. And then immediately I joined that. The head doorman, who was the head doorman at Raquel's, the uh, the bully boy that we all know, is currently lauding himself about as the one of the real Essex boys. And I've just noticed he's going on tour. I mean, I did hear he was putting 5 books out. Nobody wants to read one, do they? But anyway. Um, they're going on tour, and I did see that it was Terry Stone, he who can't be named, the Voldemort of the Essex Boys, who isn't an Essex boy, not from Essex, and Lee Chapman. And Lee, why? That's all I've got to say. Is it for the money? I don't know. Anyway, I don't know Lee particularly well. I just remember his name really. Um, but no, I think that people really need to be really, really careful on lauding about with this story. I mean, the only person that's got the actual real right at the moment that wants to talk um to make any money out of it really is Brian Rolfe, now Brian Richardson. And I don't think he's made hardly anything in the last 30 years, and he's been through absolute hell. And it's horrific having to watch certain people just cause fights, cause media fury, cause sensationalism, and all to make themselves look big and give themselves some kind of face of a career in the media world. And it's just really, really, really unsavory for me. And it's just, I know loads of people go, you're just trying to make money out of it. This is, it's not, that's not the, that's not the objective for me. The objective for me, always when I came in, was to see if I could help to get to the bottom of this whole story. See if what I know, who I know, the people I know and I speak to, and when we put our truths together, we listen to other people's stories and weigh up what they know and what they've heard as well. And then we kind of play it back. Then you can often actually find the real reasons, the real culprits, the real villains, the real criminals, and why we're all in this position as to uh, feeling like everybody's being played, really. That's what I think. That's how I'm feeling. So, if you want to ins and outs of what's happened to me, since I've come back into the Essex Boys group, since I kind of put my social media presence into the Facebook group, and what happened since, then it is on the history of my YouTube, all under the Essex Saga. So you can have a look there, and I don't need to kind of repeat myself too much. But what I would like to tell you is that I have set up a new Facebook group, and I've done that for specific reasons, which I'm going to tell you about. The group, the Facebook group is called Essex Girls and Essex Boys, The Truth, 1995. I think that's right. God, I need to check. Hold on, let me check. I should check these things beforehand. Oh no, so it was close. Essex Girls and Essex Boys, 1995, The Truth and Facts. Now, after going into the Facebook group, Essex Boys, The Truth, everybody was fine to begin with, and I was actually added to the moderator's private chat. And there's a number of moderators in there, including Dave McKelvey from TMI, Jason Townsend, um, and a few other people. I wasn't even actually told who was in there when I first went in, but I was welcome into the moderators group, blah, blah, blah. Fast forward to not so long ago, quite sure when it was. You can have a look on a. Shall I have a look? Hold on, let me check. Let's fast forward to where it was. Fast forward, fast forward. It's like my hold music. It's good, isn't it? This is my hold music. Fast forward to when that was. Let's have a little look as to when I got chucked out suddenly of the moderators group, private chat. I didn't just get chucked out of the moderators private chat. I was suddenly banned from the group and banned from another one. And immediately a rhetoric, shall we call it, a narrative of you don't know anything. Why were you just turned up on the score? You didn't work there. You could, the same kind of thing that Brian's been having on things like you say that you're Craig Rolfe's brother. And same as me going, they're going to me, you say you were barmaid at Raquel's. Nobody remembers you. Like, well, everybody I knew remembered me there. And everybody I know in Essex remembered me there. So it was, when was it? So it was 2 months ago now that that happened. And suddenly the moderators group turned on me. If you go to Essex Boys, The Truth, Is It Being Shut Down on my YouTube? That is after it had just happened. Me sitting in the garden going, what the fuck's going on, man? Can somebody tell me how that just happened? So suddenly there was a full-blown attack, uh, on a verbal kind of basis. It was quite unpleasant, incredibly uncalled for, and very see-through. And when this group is controlled by David McKelvey from TMI, and he's running that group currently, and he is an ex-police officer, supposed to be really interested in looking after this case. I do wonder why I have been treated quite so uh, unfairly, shall we say, to put it diplomatically, and why this kind of silencing, shut down, smearing. Don't listen to her. She knows fucking nothing. What would she know? She's just a barmaid. And I'm not saying David McKelvey said that because he didn't. Um, all of the kind of people in his moderation groups, which he's allowing, been doing that. So, it's just very sad. I've never actually met David, but Albert Patrick, did just before this, not very long ago, come and see me. So I had been speaking to David McKelvey for a long time, and I've given him quite a lot of information. And then Albert Patrick came to see me, and we had a good chat. He actually came down here, and bless Albert, you know, he said his wife wants him to not worry about this case, and I don't blame her because he's a guy in his 80s, and I don't think really that that's the best kind of when we're considering this case, we don't want to be stop smashing things around. We don't want to be putting pressure on somebody that's in over their 80s or screwing the head or anything like that. Um, and Albert doesn't work for TMI, he's just an associate. So anyway, that was where it is. So for whatever reasons, I wasn't gonna start reacting, going mental, all of that. Um, for whatever reasons, that all happened, and I was like, I just sat back really and kind of watched everybody, um, not everybody, watched a few of these people go in, basically. Like, I'm I'm too used to this kind of thing to let it internally affect me, or and that means internally in my heart or internally in my mind, because it is psychological abuse. Um, and that kind of gaslighty, um, troll type behavior is just so uncalled for. I'm 50 years old. We're 30 years on. Nobody's in the playground now. Um, some of these people, guys in their 60s, that have been quite outrageous. And this story does go back to a kind of a situation where bullies and people that want to call the shots been in control. There was always girls and women around. There's loads of barmaids. I wasn't the only one. My best mate was also a barmaid, and she's, for whatever reasons, um, not talking. Whether that because she's worried about it. She was also asked to go on the Sky documentary, and she did agree to it to begin with, and then got cold feet. Completely her choice, completely her prerogative. But I wasn't the only barmaid. I was on the top bar with Cal, and Kelly worked there for longer than me, and also lived pretty close to Raquel's in Basildon, and she was actually originally from Basildon girl, whereas I was from Rayleigh, and the the town just next door practically. So I wasn't the only barmaid. There was lots of barmaids that went through Raquel's prior to me. I was working at Raquel's when this all kicked off though. And so it was my mate Cal. And that's just the way it is. People can go, oh no, you won't. Oh, why have you just piped up? Blah blah blah. I've told you why. I'm not really bothered about anybody that wants to try to discredit or try to smear me, or say that I'm just doing this to get attention from I mean, somebody was so sick, and this was in the Essex Boys group. I think it might have been one of the moderators. I don't know. Can't remember now. Well, somebody was so sick as to say she's just trying to get help for her case around my brother-in-law's suspicious death. Now, that's my husband's brother, my brother-in-law. The case that is only 4 years ago is really, really current. And yes, of course, I would love help with that. Everybody wants help with this Essex Boys case, don't they? Why should I not be asking for help with our case? But that was definitely not why I went into the Essex Boys group. I never mentioned it or anything apart from the fact that death knocked on my door and another brother. And it's highlighted some really serious similarities into things that involve police corruption and sex. And I mean sexual deviance, depravity, and abuse. And and that was a similarity, but the last thing I was doing was going into the Essex boy, coming into this back into this saga to get support for my help with my brother's case. But believe you me, we would really, really like support because this is a pure travesty of justice that has not come to light yet, and we are doing our best. And we have been fighting over the last 4 years to bring that truth to light, and we still are. And that's getting closer and closer. And hopefully, it's not going to take us for years because I would have, I don't know what I would do if it took that long. I believe that the truth can come to light an awful lot quicker when people come together, talk to each other, and with compassionate adult inquiry, with nobody with any shame or guilt or agendas, then truth can be brought to light very quickly. It's finding out who doesn't want it to come to light, taking them out the ball game, or that are putting narrative that's not true forward. And then you can get to the actual bones of actually what's gone on and the realities of it. So anyway, all of that went on, and I've been kicked out of that group. So I've started this new group. And one of the things that I have said, so anybody who would like to join it, just once again, it is Essex Girls and Essex Boys, the truth, 1995, the truth and facts. And I'm moderating it, me and my husband at the moment. He knows very little apart from what he's watched, what he's seen, and what I've told him about the Essex Boys case, compared to some people that know huge amounts of detail. And I still haven't seen a lot of the evidence. And what I believe would be a really, really, really good idea. And so I'm putting it out there right here, right now. And I put it out in the Facebook group. And I've only just started the group. It's only got like just under 300 followers in it in the group at the moment. So it's only going to get so much traction. But I'm not saying I have anything against TMI, and they haven't done a great job. That is for other people to have opinions of. We all can have our own opinion. But what I do see that they took it on in 2020, or David took it on in 2020, and we are now 4 years later, and it just doesn't seem to be getting anywhere. And that, well, if I'd been working on it, like I said, I've been working on my brother's case for 4 years, and I've got so much information, so much evidence. We know what's gone on. We have a very, very, very good idea. And that's without having any power of ex-policeman, all of this kind of thing, without having any power and being under severe kind of abuse and attack at the same time. But we still managed to get so much information that we've got a very, very strong idea of what's gone on, and a lot of evidence to prove it. So I would like to propose that a independent and not involved in any way, private investigations team who I have spoken to, then they're not nothing to do with me. I don't work for them. They don't work for me in that way or anything like that. They're completely independent. Um, oops. But I do think that it is time that we had some kind of independent team to share the evidence with. I'm not saying David should stop working on it or anything like that. That's his call. If he's carrying on doing it for free, it's entirely up to him. And that's all cool. But I do believe that, especially when we are dealing with a case that has so much full-blown police corruption, that an ex-police officer that was involved in the case has a conflict of interest somewhere in various areas. And for everybody's peace of mind, I do think that it would be much better for a secondary body, investigations team, to have all of the evidence shared with them. And it's not taking anyone's power away or anything, but all of the evidence that is factual, that is in, not hearsay or anything like that. But you know, some of the statements might be a hearsay, but that they're in police statements. I mean, all of the documents, all of the physical evidence, how far it's gone back, and that all being put in a dossier and shared with a independent investigations team who can go over it and make a judgment on what they think should be happening, because there is a true fact here of we know that perjury has happened in court. We know there's a serious amount of perjury gone on by certain individuals, and that the court case for Steele and Holmes was fraught with absolute um, problems, issues, and miscarriages, and things that shouldn't have been happening. The cases of the youngsters that were with Leah Betts. I do know that there was a certain person intimidating them to silence them, and all of this is an awful lot of intimidation, fear, and bullying tactics that started. Well, they've always been going on, and that case was not fair. Fortunately, the guys didn't go down, or the youngsters didn't go down, for selling or for allegedly giving ecstasy to Leah Betts. But still, they were put in full fear, full nightmares, and probably still pretty much don't want to talk about it, and left it in the past because of what a nightmare, and how they were treated and how they were made to feel. I don't know. You tell me. I would, and if any of Leah Betts's friends that were there at her party, or anybody else that would like to tell me any information about Leah, and more of her background and anything like that, then I would really like to know. And when Albert Patrick came to see me, who's been investigating it with David McKelvey at TMI, when he came to see me, he said that he had not eradicated the Paul Betts link. Paul Betts being Leah Betts's dad. I certainly haven't. So I would just like to throw that out there. just say that for everybody's sake and for truth and justice and everything to come to light and nobody to be carry on feeling like, oh, we're never going to get to the truth, and this kind of thing. Let's get all of those documents together. Let's get them shared to an independent body, and for all people's sake that is involved in this story in any way, whether you just watched it and got obsessed with it, watched it all playing out, or whether you're from Essex and you were there, and it's always been such a big story. I think for everybody, we would like to see independent adjudication, and independent discernment and studying of all of these documents. Because just some of the people that have been kind of silenced and smeared, and me being probably the most recent one, just their voices being silenced is not right. So if you have been silenced in those groups and you like pissed off of it, and you just like, oh, whatever, and just get on with it, and but you are still interested, then I do invite you to join my group, because it's important. Because it is important, and I that we get to the truth. Truth is always important. Truth is paramount for all of our sanity. And the more bullshit we listen to, the more lies we listen to, the more confusion is going on here. And then confusion or annoyance or people trying to start fights, that causes the anger, that causes the kind of, you know, fight, 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 fight. And none of us need that in this situation. We're not here to fight, are we? Well, I'm not. Okay, so that leads me on quite nicely to talking about what's gone on lately with Brian and Carlton Leach. So I watched in full the Liam Tufts podcast that Brian did, which was great. He was very honest, I felt, as to what he knew and his part in everything. And it was an insightful, insightful podcast. Um, and much better than the other ones that are just giving it the big boy bollocks. So, but I have asked Brian to do a podcast with me, and we could have a chat or just have a proper chat. Um, we could do it on Zoom anytime, or we could go into the studio. Unfortunately, Paul, unfortunately, Brian hasn't had time to be able to sit down with me yet. In fact, in the last year, the only person within the podcasting arena with the Essex Boys who's interested in the Essex Boys case, the only one that's asked me to come on was Lee Mayo for Liquid Bullet Productions, which I gladly did. Lee asked me at the start, and he gave me the confidence, first of all, to get out there and start talking about it. And thank you very much for that, Lee. But nobody else has asked me to come on. I have messaged Liam Tufts. I have sent quite a few messages to Liam. Also sent a message to Bauer Security, who are just up the road from me in East Grinstead. Silence. Nothing back yet. So maybe they don't want to talk to the girls. Maybe they just don't want to talk to me. That's fine. That's okay. Maybe you just haven't got time. Maybe you'd just rather talk to Bernie. I don't know. Anyway, I am putting myself out there as to anybody that would like to have me on a podcast, whether it's talk about the Essex Boys case or anything. But um, anybody that would like to talk to me about anything, I am available for podcasts and I'm available to talk. I've got lots of subjects I'd like to talk about, and my history is out there online, and I'm doing an awful lot at the moment. So anybody that would like to get me on, just hit me up at Sasha with a C, SACHA at istreamradio.com. That's iStream with double E. So yeah, and anybody that wants to contact me about anything really, then you are welcome to. I am approachable and open, and I love to hear from people. So got to stop saying so, haven't I? Brian, podcast with Liam was great. Loved it. Um, thought it was really. I found out loads of things that I didn't know about his life and about Craig, and that was all very, very interesting. And then, not so long afterwards, Brian had, like we all had, been saying, "Come on, Bernie." Hold on, let me shut the window. He's asked Bernie to sit in the room with him and do a podcast and sit down and talk, uh, man to man, face to face, and apparently this is being organised by Liam Tufts, um, which is something I 100% agree should happen, and it shouldn't be very difficult. And obviously, boys, boys, guys, that have got beef with each other, it could get pretty bloody leery. But that Liam has a bow security firm, and so they'll have security there, and everybody will have to keep their conduct cool. And that would be good to be able to see if we can get anywhere. Or you might just see some people just walk out, and that would be a very, very short podcast. I don't know. But when I heard about this, I was like, well, I would really like to address these people face to face and have a chat about it all, especially as I had letters from the bully boy and all of this. So nah, no, 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 not interested in me. Brian said, ask Liam. Liam hasn't got back to me. Liam, don't you want me? Don't you want to talk to me? No. Brian said, ask Liam, blah, blah, blah. I don't even know if this is actually ever going to go on. I can't see it, to be fair. I can't see um the guy that's been spouting out load of shit for 29 years getting in a room with any of us, quite frankly. Then there's only one room I'd really like to see him in. And well, we'll leave that one up to your imagination, don't we? But anyway, so that if it's happening or whatever, I don't want to talk to me. That's fine. I won't take it personally. Anyway, then Colton Leach pops up and he put this tweet on Twitter. Well, he posted it up on Instagram as well, I think. And he said this. So this is Colton Leach. In case you don't know who you are, you probably won't be watching it this far because if you don't know what this is, boys' case, you're probably like, what the fuck's she talking about? And gone. But Colton Leach is from Town, I believe, and he is the kind of most famous West Ham supporter. And he was also a doorman back in the day. I saw him on a few doors as I worked a few doors. You probably don't remember me. I was just another blonde girl, you know? But there you go. So, Cohen, in his infinite wisdom, has posted this. Brian Richardson appears out of nowhere almost 30 years after the death of the three lads, claiming to be Craig Rolfe's brother. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. I'm going to have to stop this here. This, unfortunately, is pure manipulation in the first sentence, right? Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. They're, they're trying to put doubt into people's minds. Now, Brian would have to be really fucking stupid to be pretending, or like, he just definitely isn't. So how? He just definitely isn't. He just definitely isn't. But they still want to put that doubt in your mind. And why? Why are you doing that? Why are you picking a fight with Brian? Like, is it just to, because actually, isn't it just to carry on the fight, which gets nobody anywhere? Absolutely nobody anywhere. He then goes on to say, I don't know if he is, as nobody ever mentioned him, as if to go, oh, he's irrelevant. That's a big word. Lots of people, oh, not lots of people, a few horrible trolls have said, you're irrelevant. You're just irrelevant. I'm totally irrelevant. And he said, surprise, surprise, he had a book for sale. I mean, really. Now, instead of contacting me and asking respectfully to speak or meet up, which I believe Brian has done, he takes the internet with various call out videos. Like he's a 20 something YouTuber. I mean, really, Colton, you just lost a lot of people by posting this. I'll just say that. I don't know what planet you were on when you did, but it's just not cricket and it's not on. And that is my 100% feelings. I tweeted him back saying, Carlton, there's no dispute that Brian is Craig's brother. You were mates with Craig, so why exactly are you blatantly trying to discredit his brother now? I'm not shy of an awkward situation. I've been in many, and all this bullying is really unnecessary. And a few more things. Now, Carlton came back going, he'd need credibility before he could be discredited. What credibility for being Craig's brother and for having a nightmare mother and for all of the things he had, like credit pot and kettle. Is it pot and kettle? And then he's gone to me bullying. No, I don't suppose there's any bullying going on at all. No, definitely no bullying going at all. And then a real what do we call it? It's actually a kind of attack on your psyche soul. I see your feelings are hurt because I didn't agree to your whistleblower lark. But coming on here to start an argument for your views is a little low for you. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. So yeah, he's accusing me. Now, I would like to say something about psychological projection. Psychological projection is what people do when they want to can't cope. It's what they do when they can't cope with what's going on in their head, and so they push it out as if it's yours. That I believe does seem to be what's happening here. And Brian has responded to this. I know Brian's not letting it get to him or anything like that, but it's just really, really not on, unsavoury and wrong. I had actually emailed Carlton's manager to ask him if he'd like to um, come to my whistleblowers event, which is on the 7th and 8th of September in Henfield. And we are having speakers and DJs in the evening, and we're all going to talk a lot of truth and have a lovely time. And Yummy B is coming, and I asked Colton's manager, PR agent, if he would like to join us and talk about his side of the Essex case. Because I'm not, this is not about me not wanting to speak. I hadn't looked at anything Carlton was saying and all of that kind of thing before that. So, so I invited him on, and apparently whistleblowing isn't his thing. Fair enough. That had come back to me. But his manager also said that he would like to come on a podcast with me to talk about his hedonistic days in Ibiza and the allure of house music, because I stream radio and that's what it's all about. Well, it's not just about Ibiza, obviously. It's all about house music. Anyway, that would all be very good, and I'd love to have a chat with you about Ibiza. And Ibiza is my spiritual homeland, and it's my favourite place. But when you're like that, well, obviously, I won't be inviting you on for a podcast. And I really like to say, Carlton, what's the problem here? Like, why are you attacking Brian? Why are you trying to discredit? Is this some kind of game fight that everybody's trying to escalate to make money? You tell me. Um, I would like to know why this kind of behaviour is still going on. And I really don't think it's. Oh, I really don't think it's cricket. Oh my God, what am I doing? Get off my mouse. It's not cricket anyway. This case is really not the my priority in life at this moment. But actually, this case links to an awful lot of things that I am dealing with. So I won't be giving up. I won't be shutting up. I won't be smeared. I won't be discredited, and I still be continuing to talk on this subject. There's lots going on behind the scenes, and as my cat wants to talk about it as well. There's lots going on behind the scenes, and I am getting help from different areas to be able to talk my truth without the fear of gangsters wanting to attack me verbally, psychologically abuse me, or any of those kind of things. Bullying of women has been going on since 1995 and before in this case. The misogynistic side of things should have been grown out of by now. I would like to hope for all the adult guys and all the real men out there, and the guys that, because I always know a real man by how they treat women, how they treat children, and how they respect them, and that's all kinds of ways. But it really is. It's kind of my test as to how people conduct themselves, or how men conduct themselves with women, and the respect level, whether there's a completely unconscious bias, which is so natural in the guys, like we're used to this, but it is getting better, and I'm pleased about that, and that's why I keep talking about it. There is unconscious bias of a level of just complete disrespect for underlying respect for women, and feeling like guys are the dominator. But I think we should. I know there's loads and loads and loads of good men out there. I've met loads and I talk to loads, and it's the yin and the yang of the world. So I would like to ask everybody to stop fighting, stop the playground bullshit, and conduct themselves in the best and adult way they can for the good of all. Karma's a bitch, and energy doesn't lie. I've said it many times. And so people have their own conduct to deal with. I'm not telling people what to do, not trying to stop anybody making money, you know, but I would really like to see a bit of decent conduct and behavior, especially from kind of girls like me need the good men to actually stand up and stick up for us. Because when you have got a group of a load of guys, or just even a group of like six guys that are really intent on trying to hurt your feelings for a start, or trying to discredit you. I mean, it's funny that Carlton goes on about hurting my feelings. I have so many feelings. I'm a super empath. And yes, lots of things do hurt, but I try to not let them get to me. Comes crazy. So, but I really do think if some guys like Carlton is here and some other people really need to have a bit of a look at how they're coming across and how much damage they're doing, because it's just really not on. I don't agree with it, and I will say so, whether people like it or not. That's just the way I am, and I believe that it is important. Free speech is nothing more important. In my Essex Girls and Boys, the 1995, the Truth and Facts group, free speech will be paramount. It is not just what I agree with. I want to hear all sides. Obviously, anything that goes against the rules, any bullying. See, I mean, this is the thing. The Facebook groups is supposed to be no bullying, but when there's moderators bullying, you got not much fucking chance, have you? um, but there will be no bullying in my group. I invite everybody to join it. Anybody that wants to contact me anytime, do so. I am doing my best behind the scenes to um bring a few other people together so that we can bring this to light, get more truth out there, and once again, if TMI would like to share a dossier of the full documents and details with an independent investigators, then I can't see that should be any problem. It's not taking any power. It's not taking anything away from what you're doing. But I think it's a really important thing to put everybody's mind at rest of what's being brought to light and what's not. I'm not going to say it again. I think that's enough for today. I will be talking more about our Whistleblowers United in my next one. But for now, I'm going to say over and out from Sasha. Love to you all, and keep on tracking.